Good evening. This is the video newsletter for buysellshort.com for Thursday, March 4th. Nice positive session today on the market. We were able to push higher into the close thanks in part to a rebound in tech stocks. We had an early pop on the market, but as I mentioned in the chat room, the SMH was really, really weak and not participating. And inevitably, we ended up going red. But a nice little push going into the last hour or so of the day ended us up nicely. Mixed economic reports today, although we did have the weekly jobless claims number come in better than expected. Key piece of information is tomorrow's unemployment report. There are going to be a bunch of asterisks after that report tomorrow. Uh, what the actual number really is going to be up to debate given the impact the snowstorms will have had. Expectations are that we show a pretty steep decline in jobs, partly because of the shutdown due to the snowstorms. But we also have the possibility of a lot of extra workers being added for the census taking. So, going to be very, very interesting what happens tomorrow. If we have a pretty negative number, if the market remains in its bullish bias, they'll probably discount that number as you've seen over the last few economics report and just say, yeah, the number sucked because of the snow. Now, if we have a better than expected number, that's where it's going to get very interesting tomorrow. If the number comes in better than expected, you might hear rumblings about the economy actually creating jobs. The last time we had a really bad snowstorm that impacted economic reports, the unemployment report after that, I believe, just going off memory, showed a 250,000 job loss. So, going to be very interesting what that report comes in tomorrow. But here, looking at the 15-minute chart, you can see the golden cross we had 2 days ago ended up giving us about 50 points to the upside. Still a positive gain, so we can't really argue about that. A nice little uptrend in place with support right now around 10,400. If we flip over to the daily chart actually looks really, really good here in my opinion. Check out the RSI. RSI is right at resistance that's been in place from the July lows. If we break this, we're probably going to break it tomorrow or Monday, and it's going to come on the heels of that jobs report coming in better than expected. If we do see that, we will definitely see a challenge of the January highs, if not tomorrow, next week. Of course, that depends on how we act tomorrow. You do have the headlines today. The Dow was finally able to push back into green territory for the year. So you got a little positive slant. If the jobs report comes in better than expected tomorrow, we could be in store for a very nice weekend of positive news. RSR stochastics holding nicely over 80. We I actually don't have that chart here, but the Russell 2K continued to make a new high. We're starting to see small cap stocks spike all over the place. We'll go into it a little bit more. Many small cap stocks, however, are not participating. So we've got a positive divergence here. We've got the small cap indexes pushing to new highs and many, many small caps yet to wake up. If we see this breakout in the market, we probably 10,500 would actually light the market up. Then you'll really start to see the speculative money coming in. So fingers crossed on tomorrow. SMH, as I mentioned today, we had that early sell off, which sort of told us to be wary of that early morning gap up. But we closed nicely on the SMH going into the close. On this little hammer we see on the daily chart here, bodes well for tomorrow. And, again, we need the tech stocks for this rally to have any hopes of continuing here in the near term. US dollar broke down below the 20-day exponential, which is also helping the market. You got a little bounce in the euro. It would be really nice to see the dollar at least sell off back to the 50-day moving average over the next few days, and that would help us push at least to the previous highs on the Dow. But let's jump into some stock plays today. We had a bunch of huge movers in small cap stocks today. ZANE is one we'll go into later, up 600% on the session. XFN was up big. You had ALAN pop about 20% intraday. So here we are looking at ULU. This is one we've played quite a few times in the past. Just a fantastic chart setup here, in my opinion. The RSI is about to break 50. We've got this symmetrical triangle formation Breakout is the 20-day exponential, 18 cents. The key here, as I mentioned in the alert, positive MACD cross on ULU today. The last time we saw a positive MACD cross was when we originally got into this play back in early December. And that was at 13, 14 cents. And then over the next couple of weeks, the stock put on a nice 50% move. So looking very, very good here. Positive ADX, stochastics in the basement, and penny stocks looking like they're coming into vogue. And this one has rock solid support at 16 cents on the chart, but these are really aberrations. 16.5 cents, 17 cents has essentially been the low for this stock as it's consolidated over the last 4 weeks. So this one is ripe for a move, and it looks like the market is ready for stocks like this to wake up. Yesterday, we had a huge winner, PARD, trading alert at $1.57 as a play on the ASCO GU conference tomorrow. As I mentioned in the alert yesterday, the last time PARD had news that it was going to release at a conference, the stock popped massively the day before, which is why we jumped in yesterday. Our targets were $1.70, $1.80. We hit both of those yesterday, and then the stock ended up gapping higher today to $1.95 intraday. Not too bad for a couple of hours work. ZANE. This is a stock I mentioned today that could light up the penny stocks. Usually when we see penny stocks start to get manic, we see the same thing we saw in ZANE today. Just a ridiculous valuation and volume pop on a stock that really has no business doing this. But when you see stuff like this happen, very, very good sign, especially with the small cap stocks breaking out. And it's the reason we're starting to take a really close look at small caps again. This stock, ridiculous move. I mean, the news that it popped on, same sort of news in January, did absolutely nothing to the stock. They've got no cash. It's, for all intents and purposes, not a $2 stock. However, be interesting to see here, big popper stocks like this, the last one to do a move like this was IFLE, tend to gap the next day. So be interesting to see how high they're able to gap it tomorrow. Usually the third day after the pop, meaning Monday, would be a down day for this stock. So if you're looking for a high risk short and you've got the risk tolerance for it, we'll definitely be seeing how high they're able to jam this stock tomorrow to pick up some short shares. Couple other plays over the last 2 days. SUF play on the pop in oil stocks. These stocks sort of eased off a little bit today. No real volume. Stops 40 cents. Breakout is 46 cents to 20-day exponential. Another one, DEJ. We had a nice pop on it yesterday. Really retraced on low volume today. Trading at rock bottom levels. Again, it was more along the lines of there was a little bit of lack of interest in the small oil plays today. But if we see small cap stocks continue to outperform and show the signs they're showing, it won't be long for these to break out again. As I mentioned in the chat room, we need to sort of take a shotgun approach, just like we did right before the last couple of small cap, penny cap mania events. Shotgun approach means buying little positions in a bunch of small cap, penny cap plays and waiting for them to pop one by one. So we're starting to adopt that strategy, at least for the near term, and see what happens. There's no real theme other than, there's small caps and penny caps. So this way, we've got a small piece. We're probably going to grab a big move in one of these plays. AERG is another one of those. We had a nice pop yesterday. Sort of got walked down today really easily, but it's got really strong moving average support. Would definitely should hold the 40-cent level. And again, we'll be looking for a snapback in plays like this as traders really start to scour these beaten down, oversold penny caps from the runs we saw in January. So one by one, we're starting to see a lot of these stocks break out. BNX was just a fantastic winner for us, 75% gain in a few days. And ULU just looks coiled and ready for the near term. And you remember the last penny cap mania that we saw, ULU was one of those stocks that helped lead that higher. So looking very, very good here going into tomorrow. And that's it for the video. Be sure to check out the trade alert section for tonight's popper stocks, and I will see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Good night.